Hang out with your boy while we talk about the WNBA MVP race. Now, historically, this award usually goes to the player on the team with the best record, but that ain't what happened last year. We all know last year, A'ja Wilson dominated the year, almost similar to what she's doing this year. I mean, this year she off the charts, but last year she was pretty good too now. But as good as she was, that only saw her take home Defensive Player of the Year. But I'm gonna be honest, Breanna Stewart last year winning that award wasn't as egregious as a lot of people made it seem. I mean, this was Breanna Stewart's first year in New York, let's not forget that. And the year before, New York had a record of 16-20. The first year they got Breanna Stewart, they went 32-8. And the Las Vegas Aces, they were already an improving franchise. The previous year for them in 2022, they went 26-10. Now they did improve to 34-6 the following year, but not as big a jump as New York had. So that being said, I still gotta say, I was one of those people that said A'ja Wilson should have won the award. But I just wanna let y'all know that I'm being fair and I see why they probably gave it to Breanna Stewart. And on top of that, the Aces got all them goddamn #1 picks, so you would expect all the players to be at the top of their game. That's why they're going for a damn three-peat right now. But anyway, let's get to this year's MVP race. We coming up on the end of the season, a lot of great plays, a lot of great players, but I think this race comes down to 3 players. That being Breanna Stewart again, A'ja Wilson again, and we gonna throw Napheesa Collier in there because what the Minnesota Lynx have been doing is been ridiculous. Almost everybody had them as a playoff bottom feeder, and now they ended up being one of the top teams in the league. So we gotta give Fee her credit for that. But first, I want to talk about A'ja Wilson and the Las Vegas Aces. I'm sorry, I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings, I ain't trying to break no hearts, but A'ja Wilson just can't win this award this year. Despite her obviously being the best player in the league, this team has just struggled far too much at the beginning of the year and during the season. And yeah, I know they were without Chelsea Gray, but almost everybody else has played just about every game. Alicia Clark has played in just about every game. Kelsey Plum, Kia Stokes, Jackie Young, Megan Gustafson. So they've been pretty whole. They just missed Chelsea Gray for about 12 games. Coming off 2 championships, as cocky as they were, I expected them to come into this season playing a lot better. I don't think this team should have been that bad without Chelsea Gray. If A'ja Wilson and Kelsey Plum and Jackie Young, if they is who we thought they were, then this team should have still been trucking along. They're 3 #1 overall picks. The worst team in the WNBA is the Los Angeles Sparks, and we already said they didn't turn the page for page. But they only got 7 wins on the year. 2 of those wins came against the Aces. So despite A'ja Wilson leading the league in scoring, leading the league in blocks, being second in rebounding, I mean, it felt like blasphemy, fire coming off my lips, but she just can't be the MVP. Secondly, I want to talk about the New York Liberty. Currently with the best record in the WNBA, 28-6 as of the recording of this podcast. And we talk about the Aces being loaded, but this team is actually the one that is locked and loaded like the NRA. I mean, we talk about Betnijah Laney, probably the best perimeter defender in the WNBA. Jonquel Jones, former MVP, probably the most underrated player in the WNBA. Leonie Fibich, 6'4", amazing rookie. Niara Sabally, any basketball player with the name Sabally is a baller. And then you got the sniper Sabrina Ionescu. But that front court of Betnijah Laney, Jonquel Jones, and Breanna Stewart, you could put them 3 up against anybody in a 3-on-3, 5-on-3, and they gonna have a good chance at winning that game. After what happened to them in the finals last year, it was a lot of whispers out there about how they got punked. They just wasn't tough enough for those girls in Las Vegas, and they got taken advantage of. Specifically Breanna Stewart and Sabrina Ionescu. But since we talk about the MVP race, we know that award is in Breanna Stewart's court. And this year, Stewie is averaging about 20-9. And it looked like she on her way to making her 6th all-defensive team, averaging about 2 steals and a block. The Liberty is also the only team with an 8-game win streak, and they didn't lose no games during the Commissioner Cup. Another feather on Breanna Stewart's cap, the New York Liberty are 2-0 against the Aces this year, and Breanna Stewart played very well, did not look scared of A'ja Wilson at all. The Liberty won the first game by 8, they won the second game by 6. So they were close games, but New York was able to edge away. So with those 2 wins and the Liberty having a better record than the Aces, I think right now Breanna Stewart is ahead of A'ja Wilson in the MVP race. And before we talk about the player at the top of our leaderboard, which I think is pretty obvious, let's talk about a couple honorable mentions. First off, I've been hearing some rumblings about Caitlin Clark being considered for MVP. And I mean, I gotta be honest, you gotta give her some consideration because she's the reason that this league is taking off as it is right now. But even with that, after the All-Star break, she's just been playing amazing, almost veteran-like. The Fever have been on a win streak. They've been beating some of the best teams in the league. But we gonna go ahead and kill that noise right now because ain't no way she getting that MVP award. People like Wilt Chamberlain, Candace Parker, they only come around once in a blue moon. Let's not ruin it by just giving her this award because as good as she is, she's not Candace Parker and she's not Wilt Chamberlain. Those two being the last players to win MVP and Rookie of the Year in the same year. And we ain't even talk about Rookie of the Year. Make sure you like and subscribe because I will be dropping our second rookie evaluation. This one is going to include 6 to 7 rookies, so make sure you lock in for that one because I can't wait to talk about that. But with that, 2 more honorable mentions. This one is kind of a pair. Alyssa Thomas and DeWanna Bonner. What they doing together, the chemistry they got going in Connecticut is just something special. They're both just like veteran moms on the team that just keep everything together. Alyssa Thomas almost won this award last year, but she's just not having the year she had last year. She only averaging 10 points, and there's no way we giving the award to somebody averaging 10 points. DB, 36 years young, aging like fine wine, averaging 16 points steal. Those 2 players statistically combined is giving the team 26 and 15. So yeah, those are MVP numbers. Only if you put them together, which they are. And now for the player who I think is at the top of the MVP race, no surprise, Napheesa Collier. At the beginning of the year when I gave y'all my top 5 players, I had Napheesa Collier listed at number 3. They didn't add no significant talent, but they were without Diamond Miller, and they still played like one of the best teams in the league, largely because of Napheesa Collier. And against the Las Vegas Aces this year, the Minnesota Lynx are 3-1, so they won that season series. They 1-1 with the Liberty, and they got another game coming up in about a week, so we'll see how that turns out. But for now, Napheesa Collier been giving everybody the other side the kiss. They won the season series against Seattle. They won the season series against the Mercury. They won the season series against the Indiana Fever. The only team they didn't win the series against was the Connecticut Sun, who right now are up 2-0. But let me just put a feather in Napheesa Collier's cap. Right now, she don't lead the league in no major statistical category, but she do lead the league in a major advanced statistic, and that is defensive rating. She's number 4 in points per game and number 3 in rebounds. Usually with an average of 9.8 rebounds, you would lead the league, but what A'ja Wilson doing and Angel Reese doing on the rebounds and almost make it look like them 9.8 ain't nothing. But nevertheless, Napheesa Collier has held her own against every team, against every top player in the league. And let's be honest, Minnesota do not have a better team than the Aces, and they do not have a better team than the Liberty. They just got chemistry, they got a Hall of Fame coach, and they got, in my opinion, this year's MVP. But beat it up in the comments, let me know what y'all think about that. Tap in with us, share the videos with your friends, comment your thoughts, because pretty soon we gonna add a segment to where we gonna start responding to y'all comments weekly. So make sure you beat up those comments if you want a chance for your stuff to be seen or heard on our show. But as always, man, thank you for listening and watching. I'm your boy Els for PRNM. Talk to you on the next one.